guys, it is Scotch for Dummies Thursday night. Live. Cheers.
Happy Thursday.
It's been a couple weeks.
You've been out of the country.
Where y'all been, man?
You have been gone.
We went to Italy and Ireland.
Did
It's
you
funny
have
because
fun?
I had a blast, but the fact that Andrew and I are sitting here talking about where his hotel was in Ireland, I mean, they were probably stone throws away from each other.
Yeah.
So in the distance of a month, the span of a month, we were kind of stomping the same ground.
Yep.
But
I got to go to Scotland.
I know. Yeah. I can't believe you came back.
Yeah, it's tough.
Happy Thursday. Yes, it is. It's good to be back. I don't know what you guys did last weekend. I don't think you did.
We didn't do a live.
You guys passed on it. Yeah.
And I missed the patron too.
Oh, did you guys even?
Yeah, I didn't do Zoom.
Yeah, I was actually last week. I didn't do anything. I was running like a chicken with a head cut off, doing Chicago, a bunch of different things, and then I caught a little cold on Thursday. So I was like, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, so I was a little under the weather for a couple of days, but I am back today. I'm excited for tonight. I got a nice little doozy for y'all. A little something special. But before we begin, let's say hi to some folks.
Who's all here?
Well, look at there.
Hi, Trooper Henry. This is Tom R.
I guess Tom R.
Is that
first
your
in.
Tom R. impersonation?
It's more like a South Park.
It
Hi,
was.
Kyle. Crafty Wheel. It's good to see you on. Thank
Yes.
you for being a new patron, by the way.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Hello.
Keep on going. I think I
Trooper
saw
Henry's
somebody
from the Gulf of Mexico.
He is.
Nice.
Oh, he's out on a
Yep. Undisclosed location.
Steve A.
I haven't
Got
talked to him
some
in a
stuff
minute.
to talk
There's
to you
a fight
about.
for top 3 at Lex as far as first, I guess. So.
Jim's in there.
Nope, Jim did not make the pre-show. That's right.
Hi, Jim.
At least he owned it.
Ahoy. Everyone.
How the dram are you all doing?
I like that. It kind of fits the point of the show.
Oh,
does.
my gosh.
Hi, Steven.
A dram good time. Who else we got on here?
Francois.
And Corey. How do you hope?
Hoagie.
That's
Good
who I
Lord.
thought I saw.
Oh, look at that
Somebody
guy.
from Germany.
Love to
What's
see you
up,
on here,
guys
my friend.
and gals? What is up with you, Hogue? I'd love to catch up with you and see what's going on in the wonderful world of you and Germany.
You might want to talk to this guy.
Sean here from the Perfect Pint Tour checking in. Hope you're doing good and enjoying the trip. Hello, my friend. I've got some good reviews for this dude. My son and I had a blast. He took us around to some pubs in Dublin that we just had an awesome time. One was called the Gravediggers, Kavanaugh's. That was a fun time. That is really cool of you to tune in, Sean. I'm glad to see you, and I will reach out to you soon. Yeah, that was a good
That's
time.
awesome.
That was really fun. He was a great tour guide.
It's late for him.
It is,
early.
yeah.
Oh, what we got here? I'm here. We can open the expensive stuff now, says Jazz. Oh, that's funny.
Nice.
Good for you. All right. So, a dram good time. Number 7.
Is this really number 7?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. I didn't think we'd done it that many times. You know, it's kind of ironic and funny in a way that most of the series type things that we end up doing,
They go for a while.
We start without any intention of them being that way.
Yeah.
Well, you know, some of our competition ones, you know, when we were doing that King of the Hill thing, I don't think we envisioned that thing going for like 9 months. Right?
No.
But it turned
got so
into
fun.
it did.
Right.
It evolved into something really neat because it was like things we wouldn't think of putting together actually worked. And blew our minds. Like, we were totally idiots on some of that stuff. But it really kind of showcased the whiskey. And it really showcased some distilleries or some bottlers that really make some good whiskey that you wouldn't think about. Like Glenmorangie, for example. Like, it came out.
That's for
Would
sure.
you ever predict that? Like, it's like playing fantasy football and you pick the right guy out of the gate.
But the thing is, it was the distillery. There were multiple bottles
Yeah,
of Glenmoe that
that's
were
true.
fighting well in that series, right?
Right.
Shockingly. Just out of curiosity, so everyone knows, are you warming up with the same thing?
I am.
Warming up with a little Irish tonight, a green spot. We wanted something that was kind of light and not going to get in the way of our palates, just warm us up for what Drew has put together, because obviously Andrew and I do not have a clue. You want to explain the rules here?
So this is number 7 in a dram good time. And so basically this is a way for us. I think you actually thought of this last year and came up with it. Boys, we've been doing this for over 8 years, I think now. And
August, I think, is 8. This is the 8th
I think
year.
it's the 8th year now. And I'll tell you what, we will eventually run out of these soon because we're going to catch up. It's going to be a little bit. But researching this, I had to scroll down and find videos of things, right, that we did 8 years ago. And there's a ton of videos that we have done. Like, you don't think about the amount of videos. So it's fun because basically the idea is we want to do some stuff that we haven't touched for years. And so this is basically kind of a way to go back in time for some whiskeys that we did originally, maybe back when we were, even more dummies than what we are now, and our palates weren't as evolved. Let's face it, we've got some experience now. But it's a fun way to kind of re-review old whiskeys without knowing what they are. So that the idea here basically is for me to pull, I've got 2 whiskeys here that I've poured that we originally did sometime in the past. And the idea is for us to just score them for what they are. You guys have no idea what they are. The point is, do your normal tasting, nosing, tasting, etc., and then score it. What do you think it is? I'll help you. I'll guide you through the way, give you some information, and then I'll give you some like ABV and prices, etc. But then at the end of the day, what are you going to score it? And then we'll tell you what we scored originally.
So we have 3 different whiskeys here.
2. 3 glasses, 2 whiskeys.
Okay, yeah. All right, so 2 different whiskeys. The goal here, to remind everyone watching out there in virtual land, isn't necessarily to guess the distillery or the whiskey.
Correct.
We may, who knows? I mean, you might just be taken by one and be like, all right, I think I know what this is. I want to take a swing at it. But that's not the goal. The goal is to literally review this blind, and a couple of different things can happen. They can be really similar, and that's kind of cool, right? We haven't touched this in 6 years, and it really scored the same thing. Or it can be 180-degree difference, and you're like, okay, so what's changed, the whiskey or you?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
that's a fair point. The whiskey probably has changed in 6+ years, or 3+ years, whatever it is.
And I know for a fact our palates and our experience has changed in the last 8 years.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
you never know. But 5 days and someone's going to Scotland.
That's awesome.
Man,
Ooh, another beekeeper.
I'm envious.
Willow Tree Apiary.
Ooh, that is
Is that what that
interesting.
is?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's really cool. All right,
Very
so,
nice. So which one do we start with?
I've got another sip of this green spot to warm up here.
No, I cleaned my palate, man.
I think the interesting
Cleanse it out.
thing that we have learned so far, this is only number 7. So my guess is we'll probably do at least another 7 or 8. But the interesting thing about this so far is that we have learned, right, is our palates have been pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. Price is not as inflated as we thought. I think so far I would say probably $10 to $20 is probably the ballpark as far as price differences from years ago to now. So I'm interested to see if we follow suit tonight on these 2 whiskeys here.
Yep.
So which one are we starting with, front or back?
We're going to start with the front.
Okay, so
And I poured these a good hour ago.
give Drew the one that's different colors here.
I'll take the red.
So you go red and gold. Keep them in. And that way, what you and I are drinking are
Yep. We're drinking
same
the black
colors
glass.
here. Okay, so you're going black.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
You got enough left?
Yeah, I do.
Well, you got a whole nother glass.
A
over there.
whole other glass. Man, there's a little ridge on the bar. Hang on.
Party foul.
Red.
Can you?
I'm drinking the same color as Drew.
So can you say we are? It's a party foul and it's live. So this is what happens.
Hey, that's what happens when you go live.
You know
right?
what? There's plenty in here. If I need more, I'll go over here.
All right.
Okay, so I did put together a cheat sheet that Tom R has in his back pocket that he's going to share here in just a second. I'm going to hide I'm actually going to go ahead and hide the comments now, Tom, so you can go ahead and put that out there whenever you like. So the goal now, guys, is for us to go through the normal process, right? Take this, smell it, nose it, taste it, do some water to it, and then let's go through the normal Scotch for Dummies process
Bourbon
and
cask.
go from there.
Smells like ex-bourbon cask.
According to the whiskey-soaked towel.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm getting some really good noses off of it.
Okay, so
This is
I got to be
Scotch,
careful
right?
what I say because I don't want to influence you guys at all because I have some things.
I'm getting oak. I'm getting light spirit. No peat.
Good.
I don't know. I get a little honeycomb.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not really
Little
getting
waxy.
any sherry.
Little
I'm not
waxy.
getting any
No.
like sherry notes out of it. So probably ex-bourbon barrel. Doesn't smell too hot.
No. So in let me have one more of those paper towels. Yeah. In previous ones that we've done of this, and I'm going to get that off of that so I don't do it with that one too. When we think about our first review of this whiskey, there was information we knew about it outside of just knowing what it was. That information is maybe region, ABV, maturation, maybe finish, aged, all of these kinds of pieces of information. And as we work our way through these, we try to do it as blindly as we can, but we may ask questions, and maybe Drew will share a little bit of that information with us, because again, it's not about knowing what it is per se, but I think
we want to make it fair. I mean,
Right.
that's the whole point. Is we knew what we were reviewing originally,
Right.
And so the idea here is to put the whiskey on trial, because we all know the blinds. We knew that from the King of the Hill series last year. That the letting the whiskey do the work is really the magic behind all this. But at some point, you do need some details to help you kind of estimate your range of scoring. So as you evolve in through this, I will give out details to help you narrow some of that down, because at the end of the day, it is about what the whiskey is, but you do have to account. To be fair, you have to account for price, ABV. Those are the two big ones, and then probably a little bit maybe region based on how it's tasting.
graham cracker, vanilla.
Yeah, the palate, I'm getting all oakness. It's not too oaked, but it is definitely, I'd say the dominant character in my palate right now is an oak barrel. I don't get a lot of spirit influence, or I'm not getting like new make raw spirit. There is some creaminess and some honeys and
Sweetness.
vanilla, it's like a really light, fairly, I don't know if it's mature, but it's definitely not edgy in elbows and things like that in a raw new spirit. So it's well matured. It's almost over oak for my palate, but it's not. It's just like almost right there, right at the balance.
It's definitely got the vanilla, some tapioca. You're spot on. I don't think it's over the. But as you were talking, I was trying to see if I found any grain in there. Do you think could be a blend?
It doesn't come across.
I don't
like
feel
a blend
it.
at all.
I don't see it either.
No, it's probably 43%. It's low ABV. That's what I'm getting. Ex-bourbon barrel, light spirit, so not a heavy like Macallan, not any of those. It's actually really well done. It's not my wheelhouse per se, but it's a really easy to drink whiskey with no off flavors.
I'm curious to see what water's going to do with it.
Oh yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, right now, yeah, it's enjoyable. It's more middle of the road. It may be a little too sweet to enjoy for me in this moment. Neat.
Any guesses on the ABV? And this is probably what your second. We haven't put water on it yet, so but it's. Let's be honest. It's not super high.
No, I'm thinking 40.
If it can't be over 43.
Yeah.
Yeah, 43. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good guess.
Okay.
I mean, I will say one thing is remarkable. What do you need?
Dropper.
I don't have it. You said pour. I don't know if it's experience or what, but I've come to find out doing these things, we are all remarkably damn close on ABV guesses.
I'm getting better at
when
it.
you drink as much cast strength whiskey as we do.
Good or bad.
The last 6 months or so, I've gotten better at that. I
Like,
think that blinds last year helped a lot.
like 1% off or something sometimes. It's crazy. But yeah, 43 ABV is what we got here. I don't want to give too much away yet. So
what kind of question can we ask? Is there barreling other than bourbon barrels?
You know,
If you can tell us. All right.
He asked the question, so I'm not gonna squash it. But
Could it be double barreled? You're not gonna tell us.
I can't answer
good
that
for you.
question.
How about age? I mean, honestly, I don't think it's less than 12. I really
So
don't.
do you think it has an age?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
It doesn't have to, but it doesn't taste young. So it could be like a blended malt or something.
Here's where I think the curveball comes in on that. I think it's an NAS because it's so sweet. It's so to me, it's almost sickly sweet. To me, it's like there's a lot of sugar and vanilla in it, and that to me smells like it's an NAS that I don't know. I'm leaning that way. It's not old if it is, but it doesn't have the young new make flavor to it.
No, not at all. It doesn't taste young.
No.
So I was going to ask you guys. So I think one of the most debated questions on our show we've had throughout the years is, can you taste age? And that's a really hard question to answer. And I would say yes and no. I feel like, to your point, I feel like it's easy to taste young. I think there is a new make. There's a edgier thing to whiskey that's younger. I think that's a fair point. Mm-hmm. When you get to age, I think more information helps with that. But if there's one thing I would state personally that helps with age is more of that musty, or there's kind of a musty, dusty type taste or smell of really old things.
Yeah, I liken it almost to complexity. This does not
complexity
have
helps
this
with
is
that.
Unidimensional. It's just sweet.
I would disagree with that.
What are you getting? I get on the nose. I got some graham cracker and honeycomb and vanilla, but on the palate, I get sugar.
See, I'm getting more barrel influence, and it's balanced with some vanillas and just really light buttery spirit.
So I will say this, just to give you a little bit of extra information, not so much about the whiskey, but about the show. This was 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
October. And what did we do in October that was always fun?
Halloween.
Halloween show?
It was a Halloween show. Any guesses on which characters we were then?
4 years ago, Spinal Tap.
No.
Damn.
Were we comic book at that point?
Let me give you a hint, Andrew. Someone just died recently, and you were him.
What?
Oh, Pee Wee Herman.
You were Pee Wee Herman?
I was
He did
Pee Wee
just
Herman.
die. You're right.
Yeah. You were
Boy, I don't
you were
remember this.
Vanilla Ice.
I remember that.
And of
show.
course, you
That
slipped
was
in.
so
You
funny.
slipped in at least. I counted 2 lines from the movie.
Dude.
It's so stupid. I was Run DMC because the previous years I was Iceman, and I wasn't going to do that again. So I went all comfortable.
Yep.
And Sean wore lipstick because he was China. Was it Big Trouble in Little China?
Little China,
Yeah.
right.
So it was a fun episode. So in the document Tom has, if you're watching this later on, go watch those videos. It's pretty funny. Not only that from its old, but we haven't done a Halloween episode
Since then, probably.
probably. Well, yeah, maybe. It's been a while.
'Cause that would have been COVID.
We still
after that.
dress up. We need to do one this year.
Yeah.
We should do it. We'll make it happen. It's been a while, but those were fun times. We always throw Mark and his wife throw an epic party every year, and we always dress up. And I know back in the day, we probably have 4 or 5 episodes where we just dressed up and came on and did a review, and it was always like
It's crazy.
it was so stupid. But this was one of those shows. So, what questions you have?
Gosh.
So, I mean, we know the ABV. So with that ABV, I have to assume that there's chill filtering. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't have to be, but I'm going to assume that.
Yes.
And I know
This is
that
good.
this is blind and I can't see the color, but do you know if there's E150 in this?
There's not.
It's natural coloring?
Well,
Yeah.
Says the guy that did an E150 test in Scotland, and yeah, you can taste the shit.
you can't taste this.
But I mean, they poured a
can't-
ton of it in there. But
Technically, I can't answer that for sure. And I'll give you the answer to the reason and why in a second.
because it's a freaking compass box, and they usually.
So I'm going to give this.
And they're not
so
going to put.
we need to give scores right now.
Well,
Don't
you
we?
need scores, but do you have anything else you want to ask? Price?
Yeah.
Okay. So back then, let me double check real quick just to make sure. You're good.
I won't look at this. I don't have my glasses on.
We paid. Where is it? We paid. I think I paid just under $100, like $100. Right now, you can buy it for $100 120. So it's still in the same increase range of everything else.
So
It's very light, obviously.
single malt.
Is it a single malt?
You tell me.
Oh,
No, that's the question.
It is not a single malt. It's a blend.
It's a blend. So, all right, and just to walk it through in the light of an old review. So on the nose, I got good graham cracker. My very first note was honeycomb. Got some graham cracker then, and then the vanillas from the oak and the bourbon barrel started coming through. And switched a little bit to some tapioca. The nose was pleasant, but I knew that the palate was going to come in sweet, and it did. It followed suit, and I praise that. I like to see consistency. I don't like to smell one thing and then taste something completely different, because that to me shows not good. But in my mind, to me, I enjoy it. It is really a sweet dram. I mean, and if you're in for a sweet dram, then great. I think it's great for one. Having 3 or 4 of them, it's probably too sweet for me to do that. For 43%, I think it held the water really well. It still drank the same. It just drank a little bit, to use the smooth word, because it was less ABV, but it didn't change any characteristic. It didn't make it better or worse. And I say that because sometimes it makes it better, right? So that's a moot point to me. I'm at a 2.5 is where I'm going to come in. 2 to 2.5. I'll stick at a 2.5. Okay. And tonight, and honestly, it's because of the sweetness. It really is. It's a sweet one for me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with the flavor palette that, I'm getting more oak influence. And when I say that, I think of more of it. There's a fair amount of tannin that I'm getting on it, but a lot of that vanilla and just that when you think of an oak board, that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. I think it's actually pretty good whiskey. I think it's balanced fairly well with if it is a blend and if it's got grain in it, they do a great job of covering a lot of that grain flavor with the barrel. So I'm not getting a lot of grain notes in it. I was going to go to 2.5 or 3 in that range as well.
Oh, wow.
I think a 2.5 is probably better because it isn't particularly complex. It's tasty. I would drink it. I would I have this on my bar? Maybe. I might have this on my bar because it's really it's a tasty dram, and you could share it. And if you're a bourbon drinker, this is a great scotch for you because it's right in that range. I think
That's true.
So $115 NAS.
Okay.
Does it change your score at all?
Well, honestly, if we were doing this 4 years ago, it changed your score.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have done. I don't know if I'd pay $115 for this. It's a tasty whiskey. It's worth drinking.
Smell it neat. This is brand new.
I'll add this. So I haven't done my score or anything like that. There's a word you guys haven't said that we said a lot, and you hit a couple things that I hit last time.
I don't think it smells the same.
It doesn't.
It is better than I remember.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is. It is. I actually was never really impressed with this bottle.
Oh, interesting.
And I will say tonight that to your point, Andrew, I think and when you kind of said the same thing, Mark, I think it's pretty good for a blend. What they're doing, there's some complexity there, and the oakiness, that finish with the oakiness is pretty prevalent. It's good. I like it, and it stays with you for a while. Handles water great.
It did.
There's one word that we all said that we haven't said tonight, and it's juicy fruit.
Okay, sure.
I don't get juicy fruit in this tonight.
I can see where it comes from, but
it's your sweetness.
Yeah.
I don't think it's super sweet. You said you think it's really sweet.
Yeah, right now and tonight, to me it is. And honestly, I had a pretty light dinner, to be honest. Thinking there's sometimes when I've come to these, we're doing reviews and I had Indian for dinner and I'm like,
that's
screwed, right? But tonight it's just really, really sweet. I will say it's approachable. This is not going to offend anyone, whether you're a bourbon drinker or an Irish drinker or anyone in between. It's approachable as far as a whiskey. But hey, I'm going to stick right where I'm at. I'm going to say 2. Now, you're right.
Going down to a 2 now.
No, 2.5.
Yeah.
But I cut myself off thinking that price point for an NAS, an NAS blend.
See, don't think about
what the hell am I
Well,
doing?
no, what you do is you think about the quality of the whiskey for the price. I tend, and this is the difference between you and I. I don't pay attention to whether it's non-aged Jamin blended.
Boy, you used to.
Well, no, because right now it's whiskey and price. The flavor and price are my two key features there. So this is a pretty good whiskey. It's overpriced for under $15, whether it's non-aged or not.
I will say, Andrew, I'm surprised you gave it a 2.5.
Really?
He
Because
goes.
did you factor the price in then? That's why I said it afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't think you did.
No, it's probably a 2 for me with the price because
I think all of us would probably say 2 with
because
the price.
like I said, if it was, I don't know if I'd pay. I would want this on my bar, but $115, I'm not sure I'd pay for it.
So
that's where-
2.5 for Mark, 2.5 for Andrew. I would have guessed if I didn't know what this was and tasting it, I would have said 2.5 too because I agree with everything you said, Andrew. It's from what you're getting, it's pretty good, but that price
It's hard to swallow.
little
it's
high
hard
for
to
that price.
swallow. So
Now,
I would bring it down to the
I'll
2.
tell you this much.
I agree.
Forget the score that I gave it. That price for that palette, I don't think it's.
I agree.
Value wise, I don't think it's there.
So you don't know what kind of it is a grain.
There is grain in it.
It's all grain.
So they did.
all grain.
It's all grain. So
it doesn't taste that way. It
that's
just
what's
tastes-
interesting about it.
No, it does. They've used some pretty active oak to.
I'm
to
pretty
hide the
sure it
grain.
is. This
What
and then
is
guess what it is?
No, I don't know the grains well enough.
Johnny Walker
Stone?
grain.
No.
No, that's malt.
I know. I just I was thinking it was a
Don't
compass
look
box,
yet.
like a compass box. One of
Hedonism
the
or-
the hedonism or
I
something
don't
like
think- I
that.
don't remember hedonism
And
like
that
this,
jives with the
but
price
it
point.
does too.
There you go.
You know, you're right.
I even said it about 10 minutes
did.
ago. I'm like, it's a damn compass box.
I
So-
think it's all grain.
Rich vanilla
Yeah,
alluring.
it is.
Blended
And
grain
not
Scotch
surprised that
whiskey.
John could do something like that. I gotta say though,
Natural color, non-chill filtered.
man, I don't remember it being that sweet. It's
I don't
sickly
remember
sweet.
being-
Non-chill filtered at 43? Wow, that's interesting.
I don't think it to me it's not as sweet as you're saying. I think it got some sweetness to it, but I think it's balanced really well. I remember tasting this originally, and I think this is the same bottle that we had back then, to be honest.
It probably is.
And it's
all
been
the juicy fruit is boiled off.
yeah. I appreciate it now than I did back then. I did not. I didn't care for it as much.
I wasn't a bit. What were our scores previous?
2s.
They were straight twos,
Twos.
and I'm
All across the board, all four of
Not
us.
surprised,
Not at all.
because I'll be honest with you. After that review, I wasn't impressed with it. And a lot of our fans out there, a lot of our subscribers and our patrons are fans of this.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I never wanted to go back to it. I was never drawn back to it.
Nope.
Now, two's not horrible, man. That's run of the mill. That's average.
it's-
That's down the middle.
It's good. It's
But
you
would
should
you
probably
pay-
buy it, but not like go
Would you
crazy.
pay
for it.
$115 for middle of the road?
No.
And that's the thing that, so like I said, I didn't think it was grain. It doesn't taste like grain.
I even asked. I
John,
remember. I'm
he
like,
does it-
do
he
you
does
get
it-
grain in this?
Mr. Glazier does a great job. Did you
Yeah.
taste the grain?
No,
Did
I
you-
didn't. I pushed you to see if I was wrong.
Yeah,
That's why I pushed it, because I'm like, I don't get any, but maybe I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
maybe I'm a dummy.
Those
Yeah.
first fill American oak.
So I couldn't answer, the questions about, natural color, non-chill filter because, I mean, technically it shouldn't be, but I don't know what they blended.
Well, it does say non-chill filtered.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says
I
natural
would
color,
assume
natural
non-chill
filter.
filtered, but the
Well,
E150 I can't.
It's
No, it
Compass
says
Box-
natural color. John will
does.
never put. That's why I even made
Oh
a
yeah,
comment,
you're
remember?
right. You're right. Yeah.
There's no
so I could have
way
answered
John
that question. I'm
Glazer's
sorry,
putting
guys.
coloring in his
No,
whiskey.
he's
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
So that's
Strawberry
interesting.
Martin has strawberry shortcake. No. That's
So we're
not-
checking the comments here. I will say that this is one of those bottles that is a unique palate, especially I would say sophisticated, maybe. I mean, delicate is probably a better word
Definitely
for this.
delicate.
Delicate palate. I think what you're getting out of this is you have to really appreciate grains to see why this is so good. I think this has a subtlety of grains
I don't appreciate grains because this doesn't taste like a grain to me.
No, it does
Really?
not. And exactly. And as far as saying delicate, I don't think this is nearly as delicate as some other grains.
That is definitely correct. I think the oak is
Or
much
some
more.
other blends. I mean, if I poured this next to a Johnnie Walker Blue, That's delicate to me. Johnnie Walker
Yeah.
Blue is so light and delicate that this would just overpower that to the nth degree. You wouldn't even taste shit off of that Johnnie Walker.
That's correct.
This is heavy for a grain to me.
I see that. The end palate finish is heavy. The oak, I don't know what that is, but it's not what you would expect in a grain for sure. And I maybe it's my personal profile. I like that in the grain. If this is what grain is to me, this is my wheelhouse as far as grains. Because the other grains are like, meh, this is good.
I struggle with grain whiskeys. Even, we've had some opportunity to taste some really nice, really old grain whiskeys, and they just don't hit for me. They just don't have enough flavor really in the palate for me.
Does this bottle have a code, Tom? I don't know.
It does somewhere.
It's printed in there.
You just can't.
I
Wore
can't-
off.
It's worn off.
Turn the light up.
So Jeff Teamy shared some really
you see
good. He's good for having old grains, and he shared a couple with me for my
There's
birthday.
a code on it, the bottom row.
One was a 1964 distilled, and the other was a 73. And some of those older grains are really good whiskeys, Andrew. I mean, they're tasty.
Well, and see, that's the thing. I don't get the taste out of them. Oh, there we go. L22:11. Oh no, what's above it? MMXX-A, and the next line is 25 slash.
IVV.
So it's 2020. So it looks like August 25th of 2020, right?
Yeah, probably.
That's a funny shit.
IVV. 18 wheels on a big
So
rig.
Tom said there's 17 versions of this bottle. The fact sheet lists all of the versions. So I don't know if that helps Tom or not, if that's the right code, but
Yeah.
I remember picking this up traveling down in Southern Illinois.
Oh, is that where you got that?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was probably old.
It's
it
an old
was
bottle.
probably old Dusty when you got it.
So,
I
mean,
2020?
It's what it said on the picture.
I do not
the second
remember
bottle.
this
It had to
bottle
be
We did it 4 years
being
ago.
this sweet. I
It
don't.
has to be a second bottle then.
Yeah. Okay.
I just
Warning
got bleeped in the subtitles.
Hold on a second. I want to say hi to
India.
India here. Wow, good morning. Drop
Just
the kids off
dropped
to
off
school.
the kiddos. Check it out.
Thanks for
I
joining the
love it,
show.
man.
Great to see you, bud. Great to see you.
So we've got everywhere from Germany to India today.
Right? Good for you. So I really want to hear from Kanwar. What's going on in India? What are you drinking? What's hot? What's not right now? If you walked into a liquor store, what's the first whiskey that you're going to see? What's smacking on the end cap that says "Buy me"?
Like Jack Daniel's Honey or something.
Who knows? I mean, it could. Not even a clue. I have no guess.
I like that. That's pretty good.
All right.
I wasn't the big fan originally, but you can put that over there.
It's
Good start.
obviously it's 0.5 better than what I thought of it last time.
Donner Pass recently got in.
Invergordon 26. Used most of it to make 8-ounce bottles of blended scotch with 20-year-old single malts for my 60th birthday.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Very cool.
I think somebody wants to compete in another blend competition.
that
Donner,
would
we
be a
did
really
that.
cool thing to do again. That was fun.
Man, the
Oh my
porters
gosh.
kicked.
Porter's crushed
Arse.
it. Double, right?
Yeah,
They-
they got first and second or something like that.
Yeah.
Nick Keene checking in for New Zealand. We got some Nick Keene bottles over there we got to do still.
Oh, we do.
We do. Some samples.
Man, if we get through this, we can do one of those. I'm all in.
All right, what's next?
All right, so you guys ready to move on?
Yes, we're
Okay.
moving on.
Let's move on.
To the blue.
The Sacre Bleu.
Don't spill.
I won't. I put it
Okay,
on
so
this
this
side
one,
of that. See this little, we need to
I'm
shrink that down.
super excited for this one for you guys.
It's juicy.
I gotta clear the palate. Hang on.
I guess not a bad idea.
Smells juicy. Not juicy.
Juicy?
fruit, but like
Juicy.
I think I'm gonna like this one better.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Where'd who go?
This one is going to create some conversations.
oh,
Dun dun dun. Insert music.
I went way back.
way back. This is original Macallan 12.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Chat is off
Grape.
again, Tom.
little
Thanks.
grape ape.
That's a juicy. Yep.
Is that your juicy?
He's already dropping into his accents. Did you pick up an Italian accent?
Oh my
when you were
God!
in Italy?
You know as well as I know when he was
Oh, my
over
God.
there, he just let it go, and because Cullen is probably like, yeah, Dad, let's go.
But Kate was giving
Am I
him a
wrong?
side eye the whole time.
No, 'cause she wasn't there for Dublin.
Well, in Dublin, no, right. Italy.
In Italy?
Can't help it.
Italy.
Couldn't help it.
In Italy.
I want some Italian food, please. Oh,
All right, come on, let's be serious. Talk to me about your nose.
Sweet. I guess the juicy, not juicy fruit, but not juicy fruit gum. It's
Oh,
kinda-
this-
no, I honestly,
Totally
I
different
was getting
nose.
like red grape. Maybe a little bit more red berry than
Oh,
that
nose
too.
is nice. Nose is nice.
There's something else in there. Hang on, let me give a second.
There's
Let me
a some
spill it all over the
like
bar.
a special fruit in there.
Help myself
Can you
out.
splash some on your hands? Oh,
What kind of
there is something else in there.
There's like a rock fruit or something. Some kind of
rock fruit, like peaches.
Some really quick
Peaches
legs
and pear.
on it too.
yeah. There may
so,
be a,
so I'm thinking there's no fruit or no peat on it.
no. There's
Well,
no peat. No peat. But there's definitely some fruit on the nose that
I don't
There's
get a
some char
ton.
in there, though.
I don't get a ton of like vanillas or ex-bourbon notes on it.
I don't
Now
either.
it could the char. I'm with you on that.
I did get a bit of a char nose on there.
I can see you're saying char. Yeah.
All right, I gotta taste this.
There is a bit of there's
some-
toffee caramel on the nose.
There's some PX note in the back of that.
Is there?
There's some sherry in there.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me.
I think
Holding his dog tags.
I did not expect this to be so fruity. Wow.
Get the car.
Wow, that's actually really good. It's pleasant on the nose.
40,
What are you thinking?
46, 43, 46.
Damn if I didn't get some marzipan on that. I'm just saying. I know what that is now.
I think this is a blended whiskey.
Well, if it's anything more than 46, my liver just got superhero status because I swashed that around like freaking
Like it was
mouthwash,
40?
and yeah,
It may be
and I'm
40.
fine. I mean, I was like,
I mean, your liver is a professional,
Right.
so
Well, you did close down Temple Bar, so
that had nothing.
there are lots of layers to this, and I think it's because there's like different whiskeys coming in, adding different components to it.
what do you think ABV? You said 46?
No, I don't think it's 46. Let me try again.
I love these. These are one of those ones where you trust your gut, first of all, right? You have
So-
to. But it's one of those ones, too, you're like, is it higher than normal? Is it?
There's some peated whiskey in there.
Is there?
There's a little Peter Wiz. So I mean,
Yeah, a little bit.
I went back and I was like, all right, there's that red note, and for a split second, I got like a Laurie seasoning salt on the nose, and I'm like, wait, and then it was gone, and then you came in and said there's some peated whiskey in there, and I'm like, huh,
The seasoning? Yeah.
I wonder if that's coming from that. But it was gone in a flash.
Yeah, I think it's a blend with lots of things. It could probably 43, 40, 43 because it is low. I did the swish test that you did, and it's not as hot as the last one we had. I don't think.
It's 40.
Yeah, it's got to be 40.
It's 40.
I'm like, don't tell me it's more
You're
than
so
40.
generous with information.
There's no
is there
way.
anything else you can tell us? Is it a blend?
And this is really grapey on the nose.
I said that.
That's what we said.
So,
Like a grape an hour later.
Do they make sell those anymore?
I don't know, but
Only at Rocket Fizz.
That's exactly what this is on the nose.
I mean, if he would have said more than 40, I'm like walking off the shelf, right? I'm done. If I can't pick that, I mean, if you can't identify
I couldn't
a
leave
40,
you hanging. I was kind of throwing you a little curveball there, but you guys didn't
if
fight
you
it,
can't
so.
identify a 40, you need more practice.
Yeah, it's 40 ABV. I'm double checking, but I'm pretty sure it is.
But most people that taste whiskey will say, wow, it's so hot.
Man,
Yeah, it's 40.
It's staying very true to the original nose. And you know why I say that? Because a lot of times you know something, you're like, okay, I got these things. Then you taste it and you come back, and that nose now it's got different things in its bag. Some are still the same, but there's some that's been added and some that have been lost, right? This one's really still smelling exactly the way it smelled.
It hits the palate initially very sweet, and then it rolls into a peated finish for me.
I will say this had the biggest price jump,
finish.
biggest price jump so far this season
Really?
that I've seen. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know if that gives you information or not.
I don't know. Alexander freaking went up big.
Did it really?
I don't think this is the
How
king.
much?
Is it $3.99 now?
Yeah, it's
Oof.
Is it really $100?
it's up to it's definitely $3.49. It's the last time I actually looked. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw
It was
for
what
$3.99.
just pushing $3 originally. It was $100. Well, that's all the 4s we gave it.
Yeah, it's our fault.
Did you guys add water yet?
No, I didn't. But and I didn't intentionally because it was so intense on the fruitiness flavor nose flavor yada yada on the fruitiness nose. I wanted to give it time to air off. I wanted this to work its way off of it and see what happened. And I'm glad I did because there's something underneath it.
All I smell is grape now. That's all I keep getting in my head. Honeycomb, honey. I hate to say juicy fruit, but it's kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Spearmint.
So-
not spearmint, but
I keep saying that there's PX underneath it, but after our get together, for those of you that didn't come to Indianapolis for our get together because you weren't patrons and you weren't invited, but we did that. If you were a patron, you were invited.
Yes.
We did an interesting experiment where we tasted whiskey that was matured
the wine stuff.
in a specific wine barrel,
that
and
was
we
cool.
drank the wine that it was matured in. And I don't know, 8 years into this, guys, I still can't sort out PX and Olo. I think I do. I'll tell you right. Oh, I love this is Oloroso. Oh man, this is the greatest. And you're like, yeah, it's PX.
We should recreate that for the show because it's a very interesting blind that I think was it Kim and Martin that did that?
they put
It was
some
really
good
cool.
stuff
They
together.
did.
They did good work, man.
The interesting thing was, first of all, the wines don't even forget about color. And when you think you have a taste for something and you taste it in the whiskey, it's hard to match them up. But from an Oloroso PX cask, I mean, PX to me, there's only two major differences, I think, is one is sourness and one is a drier sherry. And that's Oloroso was a drier sherry. Yes. But pulling those notes out in a whiskey is super tough.
It is. And it's all about how much PX or sherry influence there is.
Back to this.
I will strongly suggest anybody that's interested in learning more about their whiskey, though, to do that.
It's a really
you
cool
don't got to
thing.
go spend $1,000 on the wines.
No,
just get yourself a simple PX, get yourself a simple Oloroso, spend some time with a glass of it. That's all. You can pour the rest of the bottle out or cook with it or do whatever the hell you want. Just get to know what that wine is, and then spend some time with a whiskey that's been matured in that wine and see how it affects it, because it doesn't affect it the way you think it's going to, and you need to burn that into your memory.
It's really interesting when you think about like the wine when they made it in that barrel, and then that barrel came over and shipped across the seas and did, the remnants of it, and then they used that to flavor the whiskey. It's an interesting comparison to kind of match up. It's a really cool blind to do. Back to this. What do you got?
There's red wine influence on this. I'm going to say a finish. I don't think it's a full maturation. I haven't put water on it yet. I've got to. I don't want to because I know it's 40.
So light.
I'm going to go light on the water just to let that volatile break open and see what happens.
Can we get a price point on this? You said it went up a lot. I mean, is it?
Yeah,
over
I can help you with
200
that.
kind of thing?
So originally it was 60.
Really?
It's, I think 100? 91 on Total Wine today.
Oh, shit.
It's a big jump. It's the most so far this season. I think the other one was 20 something. So this was
Was this a long time ago?
okay. Good question. It was the exact same time. It was a week after,
Oh, shit.
or actually a week before, or a week after. I can't remember. One or the other. Same 4 years.
So it was 60 something bucks back then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop myself right there. You guys don't know what was going through my head, but I'm trying to guess the distillery. I don't need to do that.
You don't need to.
I'm trying to judge this whiskey. Right now, I'm finding it fun. I'm finding it interesting because of what I'm getting in the nose, right? I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What are you? Who are you, right? You're mysterious to me. I think
good.
it's approachable.
Wow.
I wish there was more whiskey in it.
You wish there was more whiskey in it.
I do.
What does that mean?
I don't.
It's too thin.
Yeah.
It's a thin whiskey.
And you and I have talked about this over the last 6-7 months. I know, Drew, and the fact of we've started here at ABVs and we've all gone into our freaking cask strength. This is 69% ABV. You're going to go blind if you drink it, right? And then come back down. And then all of a sudden you start to appreciate your 43s again, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes 40s, but to me, 40 sometimes is just too light. It's like, why did you go that low? What did you have to hide to do that? Why? I don't know. And right now, I wish there was a
so you
little
feel like
more
this
to
is
chew
hiding
on.
something.
No, I'm not saying they're hiding something, but why did they go that low? I want a little more to chew on the palate.
Well, that's a good point. And why do you think that is? It might help you resolve what we have here. Why would someone put it at a 40 ABV?
Stretch it.
To stretch it out and to sell it.
Sell it well.
Marketability,
Yeah.
right? So
Yep.
I will say what I'm having here, I really enjoy this glass, actually. It's very approachable to your point. I obviously know what it is. It doesn't have, to your point of, I wish there was more whiskey. It could use a little bit of, I don't know. It's a little light.
That's correct.
But because it's light, because I know what it is, I like it. You guys don't know that, right?
Yeah.
So I think for what it is. Now, I'm gonna hold on because I don't want to.
Yeah. So when I taste this, I taste a whiskey that is got some sweetness on the initial palate, and then it rolls into a fairly long lasting kind of smoky finish, and I'm struggling with how I feel about that tonight. Because I do like it that it's got a couple layers to it, but it doesn't connect well. I would like a better...
Really? Disjointed?
Yeah, it's like sweet and uppy, and that's all, or sweet and smoke, and it just rolls
I'm not
into
getting any of that.
You're not getting any smoke on the finish?
No. God damn it.
So
I want
That's
it.
all I'm getting.
Let me ask this question: is there an age to this?
I think it's an older blend, and because I that's why I think it's kind of disjointed, is that there's whiskey put together. I think there's grain in here. And that's my thought.
Holy shit.
And at 40% ABV, yeah, I think it's fairly mature, but
Man, just for the record, for all you playing at home, Andrew just went, he went on record on a lot of factual statements.
Sure did.
let's see how bad I am.
I know, man.
I mean,
dang,
he
you
put-
just
He
aired it out
He used
there.
a pen, not a
He
pencil.
pulled off the workout jeans. He's like, boom, I'm in, man. I'm in. This is me. Love me. And I'm going to try to keep it a little more vague.
we need to score this, gentlemen.
Honestly, all right, so go on. Talk to me, Goose. Finish me out.
So because it has a couple layers, it's probably a 2. Is it worth? I don't know if it's worth $90 though. It is easy to drink.
100. Sorry, is it?
I thought you said
No,
it was
yeah,
90.
91. You're right. Yes.
$91.
Yes.
I got so much other whiskey for $90 that I like better.
Are you thinking
I'm
old
giving-
prices or today prices, though?
Well, but I can get a Glendorf 12 for $73 on the shelf right now, every day.
Good call. You're
So,
right. You're right, because I look every damn time I go.
And so I'm thinking like $73.99 was the price
too.
today.
Right?
So
But okay, price it category too. Like Glendronach is a different category than this. That's a sherry. This is not the same thing.
correct.
So, and before you say another word about your score, on the last one, you weren't willing to consider those things into price. Were you?
Well, we did another price before we gave it a
Okay.
number.
Okay.
I mean,
so-
you guys still haven't asked the big question, age.
Oh, yeah, man. What's the age? Talk to me.
there an age?
Do you think it has an age?
Yeah, I think it has an age.
What do you think?
Older than 12.
Older
12
than
or
12.
older.
Okay.
12 or older.
You?
I don't know if it does. 61 to 90? 60 to 90? I don't know if there was a 15-year-old at $60 back then. I know there's.
Quit thinking about it. What do you taste? Like, what do you think it has an age to it? You're trying to reverse engineer this. Does it taste like it has an age? I'm just
No, it
How
doesn't.
do you
So okay. So
taste it? You don't taste an age.
I know, but I mean,
Well, here's where I'm going on that, Andrew. If there's an age to this whiskey and you watered it down to 40, then you watered down it. You're selling me horse piss. You're trying to freaking mask shit. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't get it. To me, it's light. And I don't mean light as in drinkability. I mean it's thin. It's thin to win.
Well,
it's
there
missing.
are some age statement blended whiskeys that
it's
Sure,
very
or
very
40%.
true.
Sure,
very
there are.
true.
There are.
and that's what I'm
There are a
thinking
lot
about,
of
so.
different. There's some pretty old whiskeys that are 40 ABV.
Yeah,
This, however, is not an aged whiskey. It's an NAS.
and it is.
Oh, be son of a bitch. Well. What do we have here?
What do we have here? So, Andrew, knowing that now, let's let you finish off because you've not scored it yet.
$91.
So I'm putting it at a 2. This is it's an interesting whiskey. 2.5 is it? I think I like the previous one better, so it makes sense that I'd put this at a 2. Comparable pricing. It's a little bit less expensive, which helps, but it's still around $90. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2.
Okay.
Decent whiskey.
I
Possibly,
honestly think it's a nice, easy drinking everyday dram. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not very complex, but
Yep. All right. You're
Wow,
in.
this is like anticlimactic, and not to make it less
kind
exciting,
of it
right?
kind of
But,
is, right?
Damn, I almost want to say a 1.5 to make it more interesting, right?
What?
It literally is a 2. It's a 2. It's a middle of the road 2. This is a straight middle of the road Scotch whiskey to me.
I can't believe you said almost 1.5.
I wanted to do it just to make it more interesting.
You gave it a 3.5 last time.
Yeah, I know, right? It's not doing. There's nothing special here, and there's nothing off-putting by any means. There's not. There's nothing that says, "All right, you can ding it here and knock it down." I can't mark it less for anything. I can't give it anything higher for anything either. It's just, I did appreciate the nose. The initial nose, without water, was kind of grape. It was a grape fruity. You're like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I got a little sherry note in there. I don't want to say Pierre Xoroso because I always flip them and get them wrong. But there's nothing more than 2.
You're gonna freak out when you know what this is. So I threw a curveball out here, but before I do that, I want to say that I would agree with you guys. I mean, I know what it is, obviously, but what I'm tasting tonight, I would not give it anything higher than a 2 either. I think it's approachable, it's tasty, nothing complex about it.
Yep.
There's no sherry to me personally.
Yeah.
There's no peat personally. It's just what it is. It's done well, not super complex. But 40 ABV, it's a great starter to the night. I would say, if anything, it's a tad edgy, but other than that, it's very good. I like it. I give it 2. So that means that you said 2.
Just a review.
Here's the interesting thing: we've actually never reviewed this.
What a freaking cheater,
but
pumpkin eater.
But we did do a video on this, and this is where you're going to start getting a little excited, because this was done 4 years ago, and it was done in a blind with myself. You were emceeing, Eric Waite, Scott and Bart from the Test Dummies, and Ben Dietrich. We were in Kansas.
I know, it was a JW.
We were doing a Johnnie Walker blind shootout.
Johnnie Walker Centenary Blend Use.
It's
That's
not.
the Gold Reserve.
It's the Gold Reserve. So
What do you know?
this is
It's a
interesting.
blend.
It is a blend.
It's another blend. I thought this was interesting
They put Gold
because
Reserve was supposed to be 12.
timeout, TV timeout. This is where Mark's gonna start turning up his volume because he knows Johnnie Walker better than anyone, obviously. And I will say, this is what I almost opened a Centenary blend. I was this close
That would
to
have
doing
been
it.
nice. That
I
would have been-
almost did it because that was the original 18. Like
Should've
that was the bad boy. But before I pulled it open, it was brand new. I haven't opened the cork yet. I got 2 bottles of it.
He's like,
I went ahead and Googled it. I'm like, just to see,
It's
$800. I'm like, yeah, I'm not opening that bottle. So I'm gonna wait in that one. So I did the next best thing. I researched this a little bit, and I realized that we actually haven't done a whole lot of Johnnie Walker Golds and 18s that much as a group.
And it's such a messed up
It really
series
is.
of Johnnie Walkers.
they were through a transition zone.
They-
there.
You
they
did a
really
great
fucked it
job on our Johnnie Walker video for dummies, which is obviously our best video ever. But the interesting thing about it is, this is what blows my mind. Is so they didn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. So they did the 18 Centenary. It was like the staple for years. 18 year. They replaced it with this.
No, they replaced
They
it with
removed it.
platinum. They removed it altogether and replaced it with 18 platinum.
Well, they removed the gold.
and replaced it with platinum.
Well, I thought they did this.
I thought
and
they
then
did
brought
this.
in the
According to the
platinum.
video, they did this, and then they did platinum.
Then they brought
Well-
platinum in later.
They 18 gold centenaries was 18-year age statement.
Yeah, and they stopped making
They
that.
stopped that, and they put this out there to replace the gold label.
Yes.
But they introduced platinum, which was 18. So they replaced the 18 gold with 18 platinum and threw the 18 reserve out there,
So
which is
from a scoring perspective,
Why- I
we
don't
did
know.
this Centenary, and gosh, I'm escaping the third one we did. It was red. It was Johnnie Walker Red.
we did red.
We did red in that, and I would say Ben Dietrich and Bart picked Centenary. Everyone else picked this bottle to be better. That was back then. So
So who picked centenary?
Ben Dietrich and Bart.
I'll be damned. Those guys know their
Centenary
whiskey.
is a good bottle.
It is. I'm not. This isn't horrible. I mean, we rated it 2. You're right. We've
You
never
know what's
reviewed
bullshit?
it.
$91 for that. That's bullshit.
That is absolute bullshit.
Wow.
And my question is back then, what was the price of 18 centenary?
Back then, yeah, that's a great question.
Probably
I have
90
no
fucking
idea.
bucks.
Yeah, it's you know what it is right now? 800.
Yeah. Obviously, you know.
I think I got one of those left too. I may need to.
Yeah, I got a
I've got
couple of
2
them.
of
I may
those.
need I may need to pay for a trip to Europe with that thing.
They are good, but you know what? So where are we at? Where's this gone full circle to finish that conversation? So they knock out the Centenary 18 and they put out this Gold Reserve. So they don't have an 18 in their lineup. They immediately switch course and throw an 18 in their lineup. They call it Platinum, which was good. Platinum was pretty decent. Platinum ran its course. They came back out with another Gold 18, and they called it Ultimate. So they've got Johnnie Walker Gold Reserve, which is non-age, and they have Johnnie Walker 18 Ultimate is where they stand right now. But the Centenary blends are the original 18s, and to me, that's where the money's at. And I think in secondary market, what Drew's saying, that's where the money's at.
I would need to look up the review or the reviews of this now to see how did we hit? Did we?
Yeah,
did we miss it?
we never did review this. He's right.
Yeah.
We didn't.
never,
I looked it
No,
up.
I
we
need to look
never
up like
reviewed.
online reviews, see what people say about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it was $60, I would give it probably a 2.5, maybe pushing a 3. It's good,
I can't.
but that
believe-
price is ridiculous
Is
for a
that-
non-age statement for what it is.
Yeah, I can't believe.
But I
they're
mean, Johnnie
charging-
Walker Blue is non-age, right?
Yeah, but not Johnnie
here's-
Walker Blue has 40 different whiskeys blended
This is
into
exactly my point from Hoagie Bear here. I know he just jumped off, but Johnnie Walker Fool's Gold Reserve because no age instead of previous 18-year-old.
Yeah,
See?
That's the kind of thing that
It's-
Johnnie
that's
Walker
crap.
did in that era. That's when they brought out the White Walker and all this garbage. They were
Yeah.
ruled by the marketing group, not by the whiskey guys, for a while there.
And that happens. I mean,
And that was terrible.
There's not a distillery label out there that is immune to an idiotic marketing move. Lafroig's Select, prime example.
Yep.
You know, they hired an intern in. The kid came in, did a good job, made a bad decision. They listened to it,
So
and here we are.
Yep.
So there's two brands so far that in the whiskey world for Scotch that are obviously, I would say, overinflated from a price increase compared to everything we've seen so far. And that's Macallan and Johnnie Walker.
Yeah.
Springbank.
Well,
Yeah.
Springbank
I'm sorry,
maybe.
man. I love Springbank, but you got to include that.
Well,
dude.
I
There's
would-
no way you can.
Maybe you should do a Springbank for us next week.
Shit, we can't afford it. I mean, do
Is it more than the $30 increase on this so far?
we've
look
never
that up.
done a Springbank for Dummies lineup.
Oh my God, that would be epic.
It would be epic, but it would break
The bank.
the Scotch for Dummies bank. I mean,
Yeah, it would.
seriously, I love them. I do, and I like Macallan, dude. Everybody always thinks that I don't because I get this sulfur note, which ironically enough I don't get nearly as strong after COVID. But it's weird. COVID, Macallan and Springbank's doing the same thing. Springbank is tough. It's expensive.
Yeah.
I think
guys.
Springbank has definitely jumped on their own bandwagon.
I
of
love
hype.
Springbank,
I mean,
but
it's
son of a
it's
bitch, boys.
I will say this on record. I would say, give me Springbank anytime over Macallan, anytime. Anything they do compared to Macallan. I like Macallan, but Springbank is like so much better quality.
I don't know. Did you have any of that Macallan 82?
Well, that doesn't count.
That doesn't really
That's not
count.
real.
That's not the same.
I'm just saying.
That's got unobtainium in it. You can't get it anymore.
True.
Well, so you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And there's a lot of Springbanks that are like that too. But I think equally speaking, brand new Macallan and brand new
come
Springbank
on.
are both overpriced.
They're overpriced, and you know more about Springbank than I do as far as pricing. And forgetting pricing, period, I would pick a Springbank over Macallan any day.
What does the Springbank 12 go for? Do they have a 12?
That's tough for me. You're probably right. I probably would too, because I do like a little funk.
I mean, there's one. If there was a region of Scotland that I feel like is underrated and doesn't
Is
get
it the penis?
It doesn't. Yes, it doesn't get the love that it needs, and it's Campbelltown. Campbelltown is probably. It used to be Speyside for me. I like all of the
Martin's
regions.
leaving to the beach. Come on, Martin. Where's the love?
But I will say
I
Campbelltown
do
is
love you,
probably my favorite region of Scotch because the diversity of what they give you is just
So
the range is huge.
where I think you're going is Campbelltown has a unique flavor profile. All Campbelltowns have this little funkiness going on. There's just something
Sure,
going
yeah.
down in that freaking region. But down in that region, they'll produce peated whiskey. They'll produce sherried whiskey. They'll produce non-sherried whiskey. But all of them still have that little bit of funk.
Oh, they all have funk for the most
Right.
part. Not all of them, but most part.
But they really do diversify, if you will. That's what makes them interesting.
That's their
So-
fence receiver, I'm telling you.
We do. I know we're getting close on the time. We do have some of those up there that I wanted to touch, and I don't know if we have time, Drew. On those up there that was it Nick?
we'll have to do it next time.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
so
over time now.
we need to make a video. We need to do a live just for Nick and do
We will.
some
Samples,
justice for
yep.
his samples. In the post show for the patrons, we are going to try to get into one or two of the samples. For all of you all still watching out there, Scotch for Dummies is trying to bottle a American single malt.
We are
whiskey.
seriously approaching getting our own bottling, and we're gonna make it available for you all to buy. So hopefully this is one of those we're gonna try some samples out and see if it fits our wheelhouse.
And we're gonna do it with our patrons in the post show. So if you're a patron, tune into the post show on the Zoom. You know where to find it.
Yep.
If you're not, stay tuned. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure.
Yep.
Drew, you're a son of a bitch.
It was a good show, right?
Yeah.
Andrew's up next.
We didn't even review
My turn.
this. This is bull.
That's cheating.
We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Shabbat.
3, 2, 1.